We've already had Kirk and Scotty appear in Strange New Worlds, but when might we get other classic TOS characters appearing in this show? Hey everyone, I'm Nick and welcome back to Sci-Finatics. Well, today I thought we'd talk about Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 3 and Season 4. We've already had a bit of information and so forth about what's coming up in Season 3. But now that we know that Season 4 is starting production relatively sooner than we might have anticipated originally. I think they're starting up shooting for Season 4 in February, which is quite soon after having only just recently wrapped up the third season of the show. And one thing I thought we would talk about was the prospect of legacy characters from original series gradually making their way into Strange New Worlds. Now, the prospect of this is by no means foreign to Strange New Worlds. In fact, it is a pattern of behaviour from the writers and producers that is a road that they are going down. And they've even made comments recently to that effect. They want Star Trek Strange New Worlds to go right up to original series in its narrative. But before we get started, here is a very short sponsored message which you guys might like to listen to. Well, when it comes to incoming transmissions, Uhura on comms would be thrilled at these open-ear headphones from LightMe. They're fantastic. LightMe Cozy Fit are so light and soft you don't feel them in your ear. I can't even tell I've got them on, and they don't block out the world around me. I can still enjoy amazing sound and yet be totally aware of my surroundings. The tech in these is Star Trek worthy. The thinnest memory wire lets them adapt to any ear shape. They have soft liquid silicone comfort, and I can answer calls and control playback with a quick tap. I hate it when earbuds just fall out of your ears. These fit me perfectly and would stay put even under the most severe red alert. The immersive sound with customized dynamic drivers is full and rich, whether for music, podcasts, or crystal clear phone calls, no matter if you're on an away mission or chilling in your quarters. They're also private with Bluetooth 5.4 connectivity, 8 hours on a single charge, and 30 hours with the case. So if you need that stability and dynamic sound, click on the link in the description to experience unbeatable comfort for all your incoming transmissions. Now, if we remember back in Season 1 of Strange New Worlds, the very last episode of the season featured James T. Kirk, which was a big surprise. They brought him into the show for that alternate universe version of Balance of Terror, and it was probably far sooner than we thought we would get to see Kirk. And then at the end of Season 2, very last episode of Season 2, who do we see? None other than Scotty. And we know that Martin Quinn, who is playing Scotty in the third season of Strange New Worlds, is a series regular. He's going to be in the show for the whole season. So it seems like there's definitely a pattern of behaviour here from the writers and the producers that in the last episode of every season, we're going to be getting a legacy character from TOS making their first appearance in Strange New Worlds. So how do I see this playing out? Well, for starters, I don't think we're going to be getting McCoy anytime soon, because let's face it, getting Dr. McCoy on board Pike's Enterprise basically means chucking Mbenga, well, not so much on the scrap heap, but let's face it, it seemed like Mbenga was sort of denigrated to like the night shift or the B shift. McCoy was their primary physician under Kirk. Mbenga was still there, as we saw in original series, but he was not the main doctor. He was kind of the secondary doctor. A bit like how we saw in Discovery with Culber being the main doctor and then Dr. Pollard being like the secondary doctor or the beta shift doctor. So I don't think McCoy is on the cards anytime soon because, yeah, bringing McCoy in means bumping Mbenga to a secondary position. But that being said, I am quite curious as to what Mbenga does to get chopped off the top position of Chief Medical Officer on board the Enterprise, and that necessitates McCoy to take over as the main doctor on board. What does he do that gets himself bumped to beta shift? That being said, who do I think we're most likely to see at the end of Season 3 come on board Pike's Enterprise? Well, I think it's most likely going to be Sulu, but I'm not quite sure in what capacity this could be, because obviously Sulu's job as what he performed on Kirk's Enterprise is the job that Ortegas has on Pike's Enterprise. So I kind of don't think he would be stepping into that position, but he could potentially bump off Mitchell from her position. We haven't really got to know Mitchell particularly well. She's probably fulfilled that seat next to Ortegas more often than anybody else, and she is of Asian ethnicity, so replacing one Asian character with another does seem like it might be a little bit of a premonition. So maybe something will happen to Mitchell that will necessitate a new crewman to take her place, which would obviously be Sulu. Now, in terms of other characters, there's been a little bit of chat in the comment section of some of my past videos where people saying, well, we're not going to see Chekhov because Chekhov didn't come onto the Enterprise until the second season of original series. But I beg to differ. I think there is a far greater chance that if you think about it, Chekhov started serving on the bridge of the Enterprise in the second season of TOS. But there is absolutely no reason why we couldn't have Chekhov fulfilling some other lower decker type position. We know from the animated series Lower Decks, there are plenty of roles of Starfleet officers on board the starship working down the bowels of the ship in some little small job that doesn't really get noticed by the main bridge crew. Often they're in a small, lowly position and as a sort of a secondary backup to much more important, bridge officers. Like where we first saw, Mariner and Boimler and Tendi and Rutherford when Lower Decks started. So rather than just shutting out Chekhov as can't happen because he wasn't in season 2 of TOS, I think it's far more likely that yes, we will probably see Chekhov. I'm guessing end of season 4 reveal perhaps, because my prediction would be on end of season 3 for Sulu, end of season 4 for Chekhov. And we might see him come on board as basically a lower decker, fulfilling some sort of job, whether it be, in engineering or some, working in some Jeffries tube as a sort of a lowly assistant to the other officers. And he would be literally like fresh out of Starfleet Academy. So that would be my prediction in terms of how Chekhov will be brought into the show eventually. So my money's on Sulu for last episode of season 3, Chekhov for last episode of season 4, and I don't think we're going to be seeing McCoy until last episode of season 5. Obviously other characters, like Nurse Chapel and Uhura are already on the show, so we can cancel them out. But there's also some other characters that we could potentially see pop up as well. Characters that appeared in more than one episode of original series that you could see cross the paths of Pike and crew on Strange New Worlds. Like Yeoman Janice Rand, for example. But what do you guys think? Leave a thought in the comments section and we'll get chatting about that. What is your theory about how we might be exposed to the original series cast in Strange New Worlds? Leave a thought and we'll get chatting about that. Guys, don't forget to subscribe to Sci-Finatics if you haven't done so already. Click on that big subscribe button to stay current and up to date with all the latest Star Trek news on YouTube. And be sure to check out my merch in the merch store. Plenty of cool t-shirts, much like this one. You can pick up, always a bargain going on there for picking up hoodies and stickers and caps and coffee mugs and all that sort of stuff. It really helps support the channel out, and I appreciate you clicking on the store and taking a bit of a look. And also don't forget the Lightme earphones, headphones. They're great, love them. Check them out. They're in the link in the description to check out those as well. I'll be back pretty soon with my next video. I'll catch you guys soon.